Hey friends, welcome to 2 Pixels Off. Excited for this week's episode. My name is Brad Hussey, here with my friend Mike Janda. Mike, how you doing today?
It's the best day of my life so far. Today is the best day of my life so far.
Welcome to 2 Pixels Off, a podcast for creative entrepreneurs.
I'll take some credit in that.
It was a bad day until I got on to record TPO with you.
There we go.
Yeah.
I will take it.
Everything's coming around. Everything's
just turning around for Mike today. You know what? Here's another thing that'll make it. You know what? And here, let's put a cherry on top. Now that I found where reviews happen, I like this one from Lilobel says, the two of a kind, 5 stars. The amount of knowledge these two amazing humans share is just astounding. The banter, the charm, the advice, and the value. It's all from the heart. Hands down, one of my favorite podcasts. Makes my day when I get the notification of a new episode. That's fun.
That is really nice. Did she put something in there about Mike being her favorite host or anything? Like, Brad is originally there, and Mike is just outstanding. Is there some line in there?
It was there. I flagged it as I flagged it as inappropriate. And I think she rewrote it. Fake news. Yeah, I did an X community guidlines post where it says this. That's right. False. Yeah. This was Mike paid for that. So
yeah, Twitter pulled it down back in the Twitter pulling down articles days.
Exactly. So if you listening want to leave some fake news on our 5-star fake news on our podcast, please do in the form of a review.
Yeah.
Special shout out to our friends at Wix Studio too, which enables us to do this podcast and to spend some time every week recording some episodes and what seems to be bringing some joy and some value into your life. So special shout out to Wix Studio. A little quick story about that is I actually just transferred a photographer website over from Squarespace into Wix Studio because the Squarespace annual fee was coming up and we wanted to switch the site over to Wix Studio, and there's only a few days. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. It seems like there's a lot to move the site over, rebuild it, get all the media over. Like, there was a lot. But anyway, I did it in a day. And then by the following day, the domain had propagated and everything was transferred over, even the Google business email and everything. We had it all transferred over, and now it's all fully managed in Wix Studio. So it was super easy to do that really annoying part of web design and website building, which is like the technical administration stuff. It was really easy to switch over. Designing it was super easy. That was the easiest part, redesigning the site in Studio. It was the switching over that I thought would be hard, but it actually wasn't. So just a little quick story there about how Wix Studio came to save the day there, and I really appreciated it. Today,
we need a sound effect
actually,
yeah,
we need a little stinger. Today what we're going to do, I think we're going to try something a little rapid fire here. And we want to talk about specifically something called mastering the hook or the headline. So when it comes to copywriting, not all of us are copywriters. In fact, copywriters they're in their own industry, but we all need to know how to write, whether that's blog posts or YouTube videos or podcast episode titles, emails for your email marketing, whatever it is, you're producing content in some form. But knowing certain hooks and headlines can really help you to present that content and to get it with the most visibility, the highest SEO benefits, or just like a better click-through rate. And this is without, clickbait. This is just like real authentic formulas that you can follow and massage to best suit what you're doing. So I think what we should do is these specific formulas, they are rated by SEMrush for the types of articles that are most that get the most traffic. And so I think what we'll do is we'll go through this list. There's 10 of them, and we'll tell you what the formula is, and we'll give you a couple examples, and we'll just kind of go back and forth, and let's see if we can do a nice rapid fire episode on this. And what do you think?
I like it. I'm just going to shout out myself in the bad old days. And it's a negative shout out, Brad. This is not like me patting my own ego because of just my natural insecurities. This is copywriting, I always was just like, oh, copywriters, we need a copywriter, we need a copywriter, we need a copywriter. It wasn't until a few years of my agency that I realized, what the freak, I got to know something about copywriting. I've got to understand these kinds of formulas. I've got to understand body copy formulas, story structures. I've got to understand headlines, hooks, these things. I have to understand that whether I'm a copywriter or not, I am dealing with copy all day, every day. So your clients, and it's worse for your clients because a lot of you are out there building things for your clients and they know less than you do about copywriting. They're like, hey, here's my copy for this ad. And you're like, I got to design with this. This sucks. Well, you got to be ready to be able to improve these things for your client. And I think that's what is at the heart of this episode. And I want to do a few more on copywriting techniques because I think creative people need to not hide from this stuff. You got to have some knowledge, have some core understanding of some of these tried and true formulas so that you can improve your client's copy, write your own copy, your own marketing copy for your website and things, so you can start to effectively market for yourself and for your clients.
Nice. Well, the first one, which gets the highest average monthly organic traffic, according to SEMrush, with a serious amount of time on page as well. That indicates how long they're actually reading an article. So meaning it's not clickbait, or on average, if you're doing it right, it's not clickbait. If you're producing a great article and this specific hook you use, this can actually yield some pretty high results for you. So the first formula is the everything you need to know formula. So that is everything you need to know blank. So the blank part is you fill in that part about whatever you're writing about. So let's say, for example, you're trying to write articles in order to attract clients and traffic. And your clients are, let's say, man, I can't think of a niche right now. I need an example.
Plumber.
Okay. So you're providing branding and marketing and web design services for plumbers in, let's call it, Boise, Idaho. Everything you need to know about, see, now this part really matters here. I don't want to say plumbers' websites, but everything you need to know about launching a website for your plumbing business. That's a rough first start. I might then massage that a bit. Let's come up with a couple examples of that. How can we make that better?
Okay, so everything you need to know about starting your plumbing website.
Okay.
This is your rough start.
This
Brad,
is my rough start.
It's pretty rough.
Well,
it's
see,
pretty
I'm spitballing here, right? So everything you need, because I mean, if you were a plumber and you were writing, sometimes it's hard to come from the perspective of I'm the designer and I'm trying to attract plumbers to my business.
Yeah.
If you're doing article writing and you're providing article writing services for a plumber, that might actually be easier. Because then the plumber's target audience is people with plumbing issues, homes, everything you need to know about installing a carburetor in your cabin.
Yeah.
And then, tell me everything I need to know about that. Because if I'm looking about DIYing, putting a carburetor in my sink at my secondary cottage, then you might need to be careful of the winterizing issues or rodents and varmints and things like that. So you can actually think of that. Everything you need to know about launching your plumbing website.
Let's go with,
I don't know if plumbers
I think
Google that.
There's a formula that we could use here to go from big to tight. And this is what you can do on some of these kinds of headlines. You can say everything you need to know about marketing your plumbing business.
There we go.
That's very broad.
Broad.
Then you say everything you need to know about launching your plumbing marketing website. And then you go, everything you need to know about SEO or gaining traffic for your plumbing website. And then you can go even tighter, everything you need to know about what keywords to use for your SEO strategy on your plumbing website. So you're just taking that big
drill down
and then tight. And right there, we just got 5 different articles that you could put into your website that is trying to attract plumbing customers.
Everything you need to know about getting your plumbing website on the first page of Google.
Ooh, perfect. Yeah. So example, that's even tighter. That's even tighter. So I think that's a strategy you can use, is start with the broad and then tighten until you get article ideas that are going to resonate. And most of the time when you're creating this type of content to try and attract customers to your business, you're going to make all those articles. Write them all.
Yeah.
Write them all.
Yeah. And what's great
I got
is
one, Brad, and maybe you know something about this.
Let's hear it.
This is an everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. Tell me if you're interested. Everything you need to know about Canada's wildest phenomenon, the Great Maple Syrup Heist.
Wildly interested. Deeply invested in that topic.
Do you know what it is?
I've heard of it. Do you know what it is?
Okay, I'm going to tell you because ChatGPT, my friend, I call her Sally. My ChatGPT. When do we get to name our ChatGPT? When does this happen for us?
I'm going to ask.
I'm feeling.
What's your name?
Yeah. Can I call my ChatGPT Sally? Okay. In 2012, a group of thieves managed to steal around 3,000 tons of maple syrup valued at approximately $18 million from the Global Strategic Maple Syrup Reserve in Quebec. The heist was so audacious and unusual, and it became a major story worldwide. The syrup was eventually recovered and the perpetrators were caught, but the event remains a remarkable chapter in Canadian history.
Wow, look at that.
3,000 tons, man. That's 2,000 pounds per ton. That is a lot.
That's a lot of effort to make that much maple syrup.
Freaking maple syrup, man.
Yeah.
And what I thought was interesting here is that Canada has a global strategic maple syrup reserve. Come on. What is going on up there?
The maple syrup industry. We got on lock the maple syrup. I was in Ireland 5 years ago for my wife and I's 10-year anniversary. And I love Ireland. You know, I got an Irish heritage way back. But we were at a breakfast joint, and the pancakes came with maple syrup. And so I said, well, perfect. I'll get the maple syrup. Yeah. And it came out, and it was corn syrup. It wasn't maple syrup, even in the slightest. And I was like, what is this complete rubbish? Are people foolish enough to think this is maple syrup? Are there people in the world thinking maple syrup is trash because wherever in other countries, they're just getting corn syrup or whatever other bad syrups there are out there?
Okay. The United States, it's all corn syrup, man. Like log cabin syrup and stuff. It's all corn syrup with flavoring in it. It's not real maple syrup. Everybody's eating like, Betty Crocker syrup, or they used to have Aunt Jemima, but that got taken away. That brand
switched around.
Old
Mill Company or something. Old Mills or something like that.
Something, Anyway, but those were the syrup. Mrs. Butterworth's is a syrup that, and it's all corn syrup, man. It's corn syrup with like coloring and flavoring put in it.
Oh man, maple syrup is superior. If you've had real 100% maple syrup.
Well, you guys have like a global strategic maple syrup reserve up there.
We got the Mounties surveilling the area. We don't want any more heists.
Yeah. Okay, so everything you need to know type of headline. That is one of the formulas. Let's go to formula number 2.
Next one.
Okay. I'll tell this one.
You tell me.
You started that one. So everything. Formula number 2 is a comparison headline. A comparison headline.
Okay.
We did an episode using a comparison headline: freelancing versus agency. Which one is for you? Or freelance versus agency, the surprising perks of staying small. Freelance versus agency, the massive profit you can have in an agency. Some kind of a sub line like that. Freelance versus this, or this versus this. That's the second best performing hook headline style that is available for your formula toolkit.
I like that. I got a couple examples here. In keeping with our plumbers niche, here's I think a good one. And I will say I got some help from ChatGPT here.
Yeah.
I fed it the information I wanted it. I just needed some quick examples. So website versus social media, which is better for your plumbing business? So a lot of the time, these service providers in the trades, they're like, well, I just got a Facebook page. Like, why would I need a website? What I can just, it's free. It's there. It's my logo that I made on Word docs, and my hours are there with a couple of reviews. Why would I need a website? So that's a common kind of objection that these service providers will give you when you're trying to sell them web design services and branding and more comprehensive strategy that way. It's like, I got social media. Why would I need a website? Isn't like websites like antiquated and we don't need it anymore? So if you wrote the article on websites versus social media, which should you choose? Or should you invest in a website or focus on social media? Is another take on the this versus that. Website versus social media, which drives more leads for plumbers? And so these are good examples for the plumber if you're trying to attract plumbing leads, or if you get on a call with someone and they say, well, I'm wondering about this, if I really need it. You go, actually, I wrote an article on that. I'm just going to send it to you. Here's the TLDR, Social's great, and it's not one versus the other. It's actually complementary strategy, but here's why website's most important to have as your foundation. But here's the article, I've sent it to you. And that's a great strategy for selling. So that's how I would do the this versus that comparison in that specific scenario.
Yeah. I like it. I like that comparison headline style. It's the second best performing of the options. I'm going to write a comparison headline for this. The Great Maple Syrup Heist versus the Hair Freezing Contest, which is Canada's wildest phenomenon. What's the hair freezing contest, Brad? Are you interested?
I am interested. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah? Well, you're going to know. It is the hair freezing contest held annually in the Takini Hot Springs. Have you ever been there?
No.
Takini Hot Springs in Yukon.
Well, that's way up there. I've been to, wait, maybe I have been there.
Yeah.
Actually, I have been to the Yukon, and I did go to a hot springs. And let me just look at the picture here. I'm pretty sure that I have been there. So funny enough, there we go. I'm pretty sure I've been there. Yeah.
Participants dip their head in the hot springs, then style their hair into wild frozen shapes as it freezes in the cold air. The results are hilarious and often surreal, making it a truly unique Canadian tradition.
That is very
cool. That is
interesting. That is. I've done that, not the competition, but naturally, like in a hot tub, you go out in the hot tub in your backyard in the winter, and it's so cold, but you're in the hot water. And if you get your head wet, which you're not supposed to, because if you get your head wet, then your head starts to freeze and your hair starts to freeze, and then you got to get out of the hot tub or keep getting your head wet. So a lot of the time we'll wear toques. For those of us who aren't Canadian, a toque, the inferior word for toque is beanie or hat. Beanie, yuck, toque on your head. You wear that in the hot tub to keep your head warm. But I've gotten my head wet, and then your hair literally turns to ice. So if you put it in funky shapes, it will literally be this rock hard ice on your head. It's very, very cool.
So if you're interested in this, you can look it up. Just look up the Hair Freezing Contest Canada, and you'll see all kinds of crazy images of people. Very funny.
Canadian versus US maple syrup. Which tastes better? No, better yet. Maple syrup showdown. Canada versus USA. Which is the real deal?
Yeah.
How about that?
What else do you guys have up there? Here, I'm going to type that into ChatGPT. Here we go. What is good about Canada? Don't give me any lies. Bam. Let's see. Stunning natural beauty, high quality life, friendly people, progressive values, excellent education system, strong economy, cultural contributions, environmental stewardship, safety, and stability. Oh man, it didn't say anything about syrup. Didn't say anything about it. We got maple trees down here.
It's niche. You guys don't use them properly. Although I'll give it to the folks over in Maine. They do maple syrup well.
They do, yeah.
Shout out to our Maine folks.
Yeah.
Here you go. Mounties versus Cowboys. Who wears the cooler hat?
That is good.
It's not too bad.
What came first, the Mountie hat or the cowboy hat? I'm going to guess the Mountie hat probably came first.
Perhaps.
That's my guess.
That's a good.
Okay, let's go on to
another one.
Oh, yeah. Topic number 3 or headline style number 3 option is I just teed it up for you.
Okay, you teed it up. The top plus number listing posts. So that would be that would be like the top 10 something. So let's say the top 10 strategies for landing your ideal client, or the top 10 or the top, choose weird numbers too. It could be the top 14 places to visit for the best, most authentic American barbecue. It could be and maybe not even the top. You might even switch it and be like the weirdest 8 examples of this. I know that's not the top, but that could be a little take on it. You know, maybe.
Yeah, easy. I think that number is good. Or it doesn't have to be positive. It doesn't have to be the top. It can just be the worst 7.
Kind of the negative take on it. The worst 8 things you can do for your plumbing website.
Yeah.
And then you could go a negative route, and that could be an interesting click through. So the top, a list style, best or worst style with a list of things.
With a number. So
yes.
Top 7 strategies for landing your ideal client versus the worst 7 things you can do that will destroy your client relationships.
Yeah.
Same concept flipped on its head.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's another formula. Number plus thing, and then the content behind it is list based.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a simple one to produce.
Next.
Let's go next. I like this one. Let me take this one too. A guide to something. It's a bit broad, but you can also drill it down in how you follow it up. A guide to maple syrup in the USA. The 2 places you can find the real deal. Something like that. That's a guide to an authentic Texas barbecue in the backcountry. Something like that. A guide to something. And you could start, as you did as an early example, a guide to freelancing, a guide to landing 10 freelance clients, a guide to making $100,000 a year as a freelancer, a guide to $50,000 deals every time as a freelancer. These are just getting more and more specific.
Yeah. Yeah. So start big, drill it down tight, and find all kinds of article ideas in there. It's the 4th best performing type of hook that you can craft.
Yeah.
And there's kind of a dramatic difference between number one and 2 versus the rest. Like number 1, everything you need to know really performs the best, and comparison headlines is second best. And it's not a massive difference between the 2, but there is like a jump when you hit down to the top number, guide 2 that we hit, and the rest of them, there is a pretty dramatic decline in SEO engagement with that type of content, which isn't the only way that people interact with content, but it is a safe way for you to make that assumption that this is the best type of hook to use in most situations.
Yeah. What do you think for
the
number
next
5?
one, number 5, is just a simple how-to. How to.
Love a how-to.
Yeah. How to land high profit projects. It's not top 7 ways to land high profit projects. It's not a guide to landing high profit projects. It's how to land high profit projects, how to market your plumber business online, your plumbing business online, how to inject proper SEO into your plumbing website. So we're drilling down in examples. So how to is number 5 on this list. You got an example on this one?
Yeah, maybe something like how to, I guess we did some SEO examples, but like how to get on the first page, how to get your plumbing website on the first page of Google. That could be a good entry point for clients. They want to know, they read about it, they see your expertise, and they ultimately realize maybe you're the one to hire in order to help them with that. How to land, I mean, this is a bit of a niche. I don't know how many creators are listening, but like how to land big sponsorship deals, how to land big brands for your YouTube channel, or how to land sponsorship deals for your Instagram account. You know, they're broad. Like the how to is pretty broad. And that's probably why, you know, everything you need to know is technically broad, but I think the reason why people click through is because they're like, this is just my one-stop shop piece. I don't want to be hunting around the internet for a bunch of articles. This is everything I need to know. Assuming it encompasses the top 10 ways and how to do this. So that's probably why everything you need to know is kind of reigns supreme. But people love a good how-to. How-to, and that's because they Google it all the time. That's what they search. How to install a garburator myself.
What the freak is a garburator, man? Nobody has a garburator. No, what is a garburator? I'm looking this up right now.
Garburator.
While you explain, garburator.
Let me explain. It's a thing in your sink that you put your food waste into, and it turns on and shreds it up.
It's called a garbage disposal. That's what that's called. It's called a garbage disposal. A
garbage disposal is just like your trash can. That's a garbage disposal.
Oh, they say here, it says that garburator is a Canadian term. The word is used in Canadian English. And nobody... Okay, so for everybody that's not in Canada in the world, which is all the people listening to this, other than the couple of you, we love you.
Garbage disposal.
Garburator. Okay. Garburator is a garbage disposal. That's so funny. I've never heard that. But you know what?
Oh my gosh.
I like the word garburator. I like it.
It's a great word.
Yeah, it's a great word.
Like, okay, I didn't know that. That is so cool.
Yeah.
What weird
Another great thing about Canada, that's like number 3. You got maple syrup, you've got Mounties, and you've got garburators.
Okay. Top 10 things Canadians say that Americans don't. There's my going back to top 10. How to speak Canadian for Americans.
Yeah. Interesting.
Here's another one. This is side topic really quick, and then we'll go to our next one. You didn't know what a garburator was, and I didn't know that you didn't know. How about I told you toque. You know what toque is now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what pop is?
Pop? Like soda?
Yes.
Yeah. I grew up drinking pop. We used that term when I was growing up. It was in Chicago area, and my parents used to call it pop. It was pop.
There we go.
But everybody calls it soda now. I don't know why. I don't know when the shift happened, but we used the word pop when I was growing up.
Interesting. So maybe it's geographic. It depends on where you are.
Yeah.
You might call it pop versus soda or soda pop. Okay.
Yeah.
This one's funny. Chesterfield.
It's like a brand. It's like a brand name for something, shoes or something.
That is so funny. So ChatGPT like helped me with these examples, and I can verify that this is a true one. But it says Americans might think a Chesterfield is a brand or something fancy,
Okay.
but it's an old-fashioned term that Canadians use for couches or sofas. It's your
For
Chesterfield.
real.
Yeah,
Like you
I don't know where it
want to
comes
go
from.
relax on the Chesterfield.
Yeah,
People
I'm
would
gonna
know
sit
what
down
that
on a
means.
Chesterfield. Oh yeah, 100% of us will know what a Chesterfield is.
Wow, that's bizarre.
Okay, one more.
Bizarre.
Double double.
A double. That's a cheeseburger with 2 patties and 2 slices of cheese, baby. That's what that is.
Oh my gosh,
right there.
ChatGPT like has your number. It has your number. So okay, a double double is it's a coffee order at Tim Hortons. It's basically just 2 creams and 2 sugars in your coffee.
No.
Double double. It says Americans might be confused with a burger order at In-N-Out.
That's my place, man. In-N-Out is my jam.
That is so
That's so
funny.
funny.
I love it. Great. Okay, well there we go.
that's
How
good.
to speak Canadian for Americans. There's another example.
All right, next
Okay.
one, number 6 on our list is mistakes to avoid. Example, 10 mistakes to avoid if you want a stress-free freelance business. 10 mistakes to avoid when you launch your plumbing website. 10 mistakes to avoid when you, what's another one? I'm trying to think of the plumbing thing. Well, we could just go to the Canada stuff. 10 mistakes to avoid when you go to Canada, when you visit Canada.
Exactly. 10 mistakes to avoid when visiting Canada in January.
Yeah, that's legit.
That's a real
Yep.
legit mistake there's mistakes to avoid in that one. 10 mistakes to avoid when launching your plumber website. 10 mistakes to avoid when trying to, no, that's not a good one. 10 mistakes to avoid. Well, I guess we can use freelancers examples here. I might write this article. It'd be like 10 mistakes to avoid when pricing your website services. 10 mistakes to avoid. Well, and it could be 7 mistakes. It could be 14 mistakes. Maybe, here's a little secret. If you're trying to create that piece of content, whether it's a YouTube video or an article, see if there is somebody who wrote that. So for example, 10 mistakes to avoid when pricing your freelance services. See if that video comes up. And if it is, and it's ranking well, do a better version of the video. And instead of 10 mistakes to avoid, make it 26 mistakes to avoid and make it a rapid fire video. Or maybe if the video is really long, make it a short 10 mistakes to avoid. Or maybe it's too general and it's missing a few other mistakes. Add it in there. Like just do a better version of the article so that you can capture some of that traffic. That's a great way of maybe competing with somebody who has another piece that's similar.
Yeah.
That's what I would recommend.
Here's some
for that.
examples. I just did that exact task. 11 advertising mistakes plumbers should avoid. 5 mistakes plumbers make on their websites and how to, I have to click on this one to see the rest of the title, and how to fix them.
There you go. So there's ideas and you could create variations of that.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so that was number 6, 10 or blank number of mistakes to avoid. It doesn't even have to be a number. It can just be mistakes that you should avoid. It doesn't have to be numeric. But the numeric type of hooks oftentimes
Really
are effective. Yeah.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah, because it takes it from general to specific pretty quickly, regardless of the number you choose. Next
we got 3 left. We got number 7.
I like this one. What they don't tell you.
Yeah.
This is a cool one because it's mysterious and it creates a curiosity loop that naturally the reader wants to close if they're your target audience and they see what they don't tell you about, let's say, freelancing, what they don't tell you about what they don't tell you about launching your plumber website, or what they don't tell you about I don't know, maple syrup in Idaho. It's not
You
real.
want to know what they don't tell you about Canada?
What do they tell you? What don't they tell you?
They don't tell you about harsh winters, high cost of living in major cities, healthcare wait times, limited sunlight in winter, high taxes, distance and travel costs, bureaucracy, job market challenges, cultural differences, and wildlife encounters. That's what they don't tell you about living in Canada. You know what?
And those are all legit. Like,
they are.
Okay, yeah. Like, oh, for sure. Like, pick one of them. What was one of them?
Wildlife encounters. Give me that.
Get wildlife encounters. So,
yeah,
like, we're a massive landmass, and most of the landmass is unoccupied, meaning we have some city centers that are close to the border, the U.S. and Canadian border, and there's other cities that are north of that, and there's less and less as you go up. There's lots of towns and villages and hamlets and whatnot, and small kind of indigenous populations in certain areas, but it's a huge landmass, and so we have massive amounts of wildlife: bears, coyotes, wolves, moose, all sorts of rodents, but specifically like the predators. And so, black bears, grizzly bears, I mean, they're all around. And depending on where you are, so where I am in Alberta, we're close to the Rocky Mountains. And so there's cougars, there's a lot of deer, tons of deer. But if you're hiking in the Rockies, chances of encounters with bears, cougars, elk, moose. I mean, it's like they're all legit things. And then you need to know how to behave. There's a lot of tourists, and they're tourists who think that they're almost a tourist attraction. So and a lot of those times it doesn't end well for either party. And here's why. One, if you see a cute black bear on the side of the road and you think it's cute to take a selfie with it, know that it could maul you to death. And it has done that to people. And it also ends bad for the black bear, because once that black bear has become more accustomed to human contact, it becomes more emboldened to be around humans, which means that either that bear needs to be relocated, which is basically a death sentence for that bear, because now it's not in its natural area, or the bear keeps coming back, and then wildlife officers have to shoot it and kill it. And so it's like you actually have to learn certain protocols about wildlife encounters and where you are. There's a lot of elk here. There's a lot of moose. The bears are its mating season, or it's rutting season for the deer. Stay away from the bucks because they will attack you. Like stuff like that. That's true. There's another one. One more.
It sounds true. This is my whole vision of Canada. This is my whole. This is what I perceive.
You got it, man.
Yeah.
Wait times too. Free healthcare for sure. You're not paying for it. But the wait times,
you pay for it in higher taxes. Right?
And those taxes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those.
Yep.
All
right. Number 8.
What they don't tell you
on our list. So that one was number 7. That is what they don't tell you. What they don't tell you about launching your plumbing website. What they don't tell you about SEO for your plumbing website. Does it matter? That kind of article. Okay. Number
what
8.
They don't tell you about working with web designers, like what they don't tell plumbers about working with web designers, because then you could say, here's what you got to watch out for. Here's what they're going to try and do. And you could use that to your advantage.
What they don't tell you about starting a podcast. What they don't tell you about building a relationship with your podcast co-host. These are fascinating articles.
10 surprising benefits or 10 surprising downsides of working with Mike Janda.
Yeah. 10 mistakes to avoid, like being in a podcast with Brad Hussey. Like, then you're making it an example that's tangible for people,
Yeah, just like real, I can feel it. Just like hit pieces on each other. I like it. This is great.
People want me to write these articles. If you want me to write these articles, shoot me an email, me@michaeljanda.com. I'll be happy to oblige.
So great.
All right, number 8.
Increase your X with Y, such as increase your profits with these 3 pricing tips. Good example increase your SEO ranking, or even better, increase your Google ranking with professional website design, especially if you're targeting a plumber who doesn't believe that a website's a good idea. Social media is fine. Increase your Google rankings with a professional plumbing website, and then that would be a nice little article to write.
Yeah, good. I like it. I'm not going to add any bashy comments to Canada on that. People are making up their own in their car right now as they drive.
They are.
Increase your X with Y.
Y. It's a great one.
Okay, number 9. Stop doing this. Why you should stop visiting Canada in the winter. Why you should stop feeding the bears in Canada.
Why you should stop taking selfies with moose.
Yes, this is good. These are good. Yeah. I'd be interested in those articles, actually, because I would be going to look at the person getting attacked like I get my TikTok videos. There was one I saw yesterday, I saved it. And it was somebody who was like throwing popcorn to a freaking grizzly bear on the side of the road. And the person in the car is filming them. And the caption was, this person thinks a grizzly bear is a dog. And he's like tossing popcorn to it. And then all of a sudden the grizzly bear lunges at the person. And then it cuts the video. You don't know what actually happened. I don't know if the person got mauled, if they're dead. I don't know what happened, but the grizzly bear charged him. And it was like so fast. That's one of the things people don't know. These freaking bears and stuff, they're fast. They're fast.
You cannot outrun a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
Woo. Why you should stop
feeding so
popcorn
stop
to the
doing
grizzly bears.
this. Why you should stop doing blank.
Yeah. Stop using social media to grow your plumbing business.
Yeah.
What? That's all I do.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what you should be doing instead.
Yeah. That's good. Why you should stop writing blog articles on your plumbing website. Why you should stop marketing your business through just your website, or marketing your plumbing business through your website. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just shout this out from the beginning. I hate that plumbing has been our example for all of this. It's like the worst.
A lot.
It's the worst example for this. I didn't know. I wish we would have come up with something a little more edgy or fun than plumbing.
We should decide one so that when we like pull out of the hat of like we need quick examples, we don't always go to plumbing.
I like that. Okay. Yeah. Plumbing.
What are some examples? Better.
Too easy.
Niche. Examples.
You're typing it in ChatGPT.
I am. ChatGPT is going to come to the rescue here.
Well, you got restaurant niche. You've got startups, tech startups. You got entertainment industry. You got breweries. Somebody in my community targets breweries.
Breweries a good one.
Yeah.
Municipalities like tourism.
Tourism is fun. Tourism
is a good one. Could be also like
music
fitness.
Industry, live performances and stuff. That kind of stuff could be fun too.
I came across a niche earlier. I saw a website for a band I was listening to, and I always like to see like who made their website. Is it good? Is it bad?
Yeah.
And anyway, this website, which was okay, was a small agency who did branding and design exclusively for music artists. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And they can really focus on what they need and the tools they need, and they all need the similar things like merch, tour dates, there's social media links in bio, like all of these sorts of similar things that person could get really good at. So there's a few examples. Tourism, travel, if you were like the designer for airline industries, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah. You mentioned a band that you listen to. You have bands, you got bands you listen to, or I thought you guys just listened to like Celine Dion and Shania Twain up there. Like,
Shania
is there anything else that you guys listen to?
It's fire.
Like that. That's it. Okay. Now, give me honest answer. Answer. Celine Dion probably has 100 songs that she's recorded. Mm-hmm. What percentage of them can you sing word for word? Don't lie. Don't lie.
Okay, let me.
50?
I won't lie. Celine 50 Celine Dion
50%
songs. 50%.
Brad
No
can
way.
sing 50% of the Celine Dion songs.
Probably for me, honestly, 2 or 3, but I will follow up. 2 or 3. So Shania Twain, you can throw nearly any Shania Twain song at me and I can sing it.
You can? For real?
Oh man, I love Shania Twain. I grew up like my parents always listened. My mom loved Shania Twain, and definitely Shania Twain. I can That's karaoke so most of those songs for sure. But there are some really niche
Canadian
bands.
treasures.
Canadian treasures. Tragically Hip. You know the hip? That's really niche.
Yes.
Nice. You just earned some respect in my eyes.
Dang. What else do you guys have up there? Who else is from Canada? Jim Carrey's from Canada.
Jim Carrey's from Canada. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He's not from Canada, but his dad is from Canada. No, and he also has dual Canadian American citizenship.
He does?
He has dual citizenship.
Okay.
He used to play before his fame in the WWF on the Calgary Stampeders, our CFL.
Oh, he did.
So we have
I knew he played football at Miami, University of Miami, but I didn't know that he did some semi-pro. I know it's pro football up there. It's pro football, but it's actually just semi-pro.
It's niche, yeah.
It's like a farm league.
It's funny because I think our joke is like, they got the NFL, it gets all the fame and the glory, but in the CFL, we got bigger balls and longer fields.
Hey, there you go.
That's what they say. Because I think quite literally the ball is bigger and the fields are longer. So the dudes have to work harder and they have bigger, bulkier balls to throw around.
That's so funny.
So anyway, we have our own
All
niche
right, let's get back on track. So we got number 9 was stop doing this. Why you should stop doing this. Number 10 is listicles. Listicles. Okay. And this is basically just a numeric style headline that leads to a numeric style piece of content. 10 productivity tips that will save you 20 hours per month. And it is related to a lot of these other numeric ones that we've had so far. 10 things, 10 best, top 10 this, 10 biggest mistakes kind of thing. Those are tangents of listicle-y kinds of things. But listicles is number 10 on this SEM Rush list of 10 blank that will blank this for you and trying to fill those numbers in.
It's a helpful one, I think, specifically for the person writing it. Because it's like, you can come up with those 10 things or those 7 things or those 12 things, 10 website secrets that's going to get your plumbing website on the first page of Google. I used plumbing again. 10.
Yeah, you're addicted.
I know I am. It's the plumbers. Yeah. We need to just we need to go in on business and just do websites for plumbers and we'll crush it.
Yeah. What a great business.
Talk about it so
Everybody would love it.
Yeah. But the listicle is really easy. I like it for my YouTube channel. Sometimes when you need to make a video and you can't think of something super creative, you're just like 14, Wix Studio secrets you didn't know. And I'll go, all right, what are the 14 Wix Studio secrets? And I'll find them and then I'll make a video. And then it's just kind of fun and easy to make. And it's a good piece of content. And it's also something that people do find interesting.
I like it. Okay, I'm going to go down the very end list here of just recapping. We've got everything you need to know. We've got comparison. We got top blank number of this. We have a guide to. You have how to. You have mistakes to avoid. You have, what was the next one? We have what they don't tell you.
Yep.
Increase your X with Y. Stop doing this, and listicles. That was our list of hook styles,
frameworks
that you can start using in your content.
Yeah. Use them, try them out. And maybe you only use 2 or 3 of them, but like if you're going to create content, writing articles, creating videos, even if you're using it for social media content, it's the same. It follows the same format. It's just in a shorter medium. Maybe it's a reel, or it's a carousel. A lot of the time you can put Instagram carousels. Maybe it's a LinkedIn post. It's a blog article. It's an email newsletter, they follow the same thing. So use these frameworks, help give you some, frameworks really to create content. So you're not just staring at a blank page and wondering what to write. Like, well, what's your industry? What do you do? Okay, now write me a 4 mistakes to avoid article in your niche for that industry. And then you can go, oh yeah, well, I could actually tell you 4 things to avoid, 4 things plumbers should avoid, 4 things travel websites should avoid, 4 things veterinarians should avoid when marketing online. You could come up with that because you know it, and it's just giving you a framework to write it.
You know what I think is interesting is that the nature of creating the content teaches you the list. It teaches you the stuff. And so you and I, like this afternoon, somebody could say, hey, how do I write a headline or how do I write a hook for my content? And you could say, you know what? Let me give you 5 different hook formulas that you can use. And you go and rattle them off like you got this all fresh, but it was because we created a piece of content teaching that thing. And there's something in the nature of you doing that for your target customers on your website, like top 10 things you should put on your plumber website. Yeah. And then next time you're in a sales meeting and the plumber client says to you, well, why do I even need a website? You can say, let me give you 10 reasons you need a website, or the 10 things you need to put on your website. And you can just give it to them as if it were like so perfectly thought out, but it was because you rehearsed it and entrenched it in your own brain. So this idea of making content that you can use in sales in the future can be so beneficial, even if you're not getting a bunch of traffic on the content itself.
The secret benefit, I think, to writing content or creating content is not necessarily like the benefit of getting traffic and getting leads and whatnot from it, obviously, is a primary objective. But a benefit that you don't realize is it makes you better at understanding yourself and your value and your services. Because when you write about it or you record about it or you talk about it a lot, it becomes so second nature to you that when you're in those conversations, on a sales conversation or a meeting, and somebody asks you a question, you can recall it because you wrote about it. You talked about it. You filmed about it. And it just helps you get better at communicating your value rather than just leaving it in your head and not knowing how to answer it. You know, I wrote that article and I actually shared a lot. And writing about what you know helps you get better at what you do. Yeah. So even if you're not just getting a ton of traffic from it, you're like, oh, it's not getting me tons of leads. You're like, but you know what it is doing? It's training you to get better at your craft by communicating it. So you land more deals, you close more deals.
Yeah. Especially these things like a guide to article or everything you need to know about article, mistakes to avoid. I mean, all of these could just be, if you created content around these themes, you could have so much valuable knowledge to share on a moment's notice. So valuable for you. So get out there, people, and write some content, create content for your target customer. And it's just sales training for you. Even if it doesn't blow up your site or generate any leads for you, it can really help you close deals you wouldn't have closed otherwise.
100%. I will say right now, as we close, when I started this episode, I was like, this is gonna be fast. We're going to get this so quick, rapid fire. It's going to be a quick episode, no problem. And when I start like that, anyone listening, they'll look at the time, the duration of the episode, and they'll be like, oh yeah, they definitely didn't do a fast one. They failed at that objective of being quick. But anyway, I thought it was good. It was fun. And I think that we gave it the time it deserved. And hopefully the banter provides some laughter.
Okay, let me shout out. Before you close, I'm going to shout out a few other famous Canadians. You got Keanu Reeves. You got Justin Bieber. I didn't know the Bieb was Canadian. Yeah. You got Ontario. Neil Young, Ryan Gosling. My one of my best buddies grew up with Ryan Gosling in Canada, just so you know.
Oh, He's nice. Got stories.
Ryan, he took his sister Gosling to freaking prom. Took his sister to prom. Ryan Reynolds. William Shatner. What? Mike Myers. You got a lot of Dan Aykroyd. You got a lot of good ones in here.
A lot of classics.
Michael Bublé.
Yeah,
he's a national treasure.
Yep, he is.
Okay.
There you go. Few heavy hitters there. Put Brad Hussey on that list too.
No, Brad Hussey. Actually, you're on this list, but they struck out your name, like it's crossed off for some reason.
They flagged it as inappropriate.
It's weird, yeah.
It was you. It was you reporting it.
Yeah.
So great. Okay, this was fun. Thanks everybody for listening. I really appreciate it. Leave us some reviews. It's fun. I found them now, so now I can actually read all the nice things you say about me. And if you're Canadian, you can smack talk Mike, and he won't see it because he only gets the US version.
You can.
Do it. Leave us reviews. We really appreciate it. And special shout out to our friends at Wix Studio for making this possible. We really appreciate you guys as well. Go check out Wix Studio, wixstudio.com. Start creating and try it out. I always like to say, just give it a try and see what you think. Like I said, I transferred over a website in a pinch from Squarespace to Wix Studio, and it was so easy. And it's those experiences that really make you realize this is a great tool. So go give it a try. Special thanks to them. And we will catch you on our next episode on DPO.